Welcome to the world of probiotic foods. This is Cultured Food Life with your host, Donna Schwenk.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining me. And we've got something really exciting to talk about today. Something that I've been waiting and watching for months to talk about. And that is how fermented vegetables can help with COVID-19. In my own personal experience and from, thousands of people that I help through my website, I have seen tremendous help in dealing with this COVID-19, and especially with fermented vegetables. And I knew that they had special qualities in them. The good bacteria that's in fermented vegetables deals very well with things like viruses. And I've known that for many, many years because I've had several viruses and a lot of research come out that they're antiviral. But I didn't know if they worked with COVID-19 because it was a new virus. And you can't really make claims without, having enough research to understand how it works with this new virus, because every virus is a little bit different. So in the very beginning, when COVID-19 came out, the minister of Seoul, Korea, he's the health minister actually, they eat a lot of kimchi there, and they've had a lot of success with fermented kimchi with fighting viruses, and we're going to talk about that later. I'm going to explain to you more why they've done so well with viruses, because of their consumption of eating kimchi, which is their national food. But in the very beginning of COVID, the health minister of South Korea quickly came out and said that kimchi does not help with this virus. And I don't think he really knew, but he just came out quickly and said it's not going to help. And months later, that has found no longer to be true. So Dr. Jean Pusquet, he's the professor of the pulmonary medicine at Montpellier University in France. And he also chaired the Global Alliance Against Chronic Respiratory Diseases. And his team studied a link between countries that consumed a lot of fermented krauts, such as South Korea and Germany, and started to discover that they had lower death rates and cases. And he said, this is a quote from him, "Little attention has been given to the spread and severity of the virus and regional differences in diets. But diet changes can be of great benefit," advising people that he saw to eat fermented vegetables for breakfast because he was seeing that in certain countries, they were doing better than others. So then he went on to say, if the hypothesis is proved, COVID-19 will be the first infectious disease epidemic whose biological mechanisms are proved to be associated with the loss of nature. When modern life led to eating reduced amount of fermented foods, the microbiome drastically changes, and this may facilitate COVID-19 to spread or to be more severe. And that was his team who said that. Now, let me explain to you how this works. There's a lot more information. There's a lot more research. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Okay, but let me tell you how COVID-19 enters the body. Okay, and this study, and I have all the links and all the research on my article, and I'm going to put that link in the description below so you can look at all the article and all the research. I got like 10 links to different things, and you'll find it very interesting. I've even got some graphs showing the different countries and how they've done, the ones that ate fermented foods, the ones who didn't. It's really interesting. So let me first explain to you how COVID-19 enters the body. And there was a study published in the Clinical and Translational Allergy Journal, and it found that fermented cabbage helped decrease levels of ACE2, which is key to virus replicating and finding entry into the body. Now, ACE2, which stands for angiotensin converting enzyme 2, is a protein that sits on the surface of many types of cells in the human body. And this includes the heart, the gut, the lungs, and inside the nose. And this protein adheres to cells located on the surface of the lungs. And what it does, it's kind of interesting. It begins to form these little pockets or openings on the organ. And this is used by COVID-19 as an entry point into the body. So SARS-CoV-2, which is severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, that's the official name of the virus. with its really spiky exterior. It kind of doesn't look like a regular virus. Viruses kind of look like, if you ever seen a picture of a virus, it looks like a little robot. This one is round and it's got spiky things on the outside, so it looks and appears different than a lot of other viruses. But what it does, because it's got those spiky exteriors, it has the ability to unlock the ACE2 receptors and gain entry into the lungs. And that's how the virus begins, by invading the lungs and making copies of itself. But the exciting news is consuming probiotic fermented cabbage brings down the number of ACE2, and it makes it much more difficult for the virus to enter the body. And it's amazing how protective it can be. But only fermented cabbage has this effect. Sauerkraut that is canned and heated and stored in stores on store shelves doesn't have the probiotic in it that has the effect that keeps this virus from lowering those ACE2 proteins in the body. So you need to make sure that your culture is probiotic, that it has cultures that's alive, that it's living, because it's the bacteria in that sauerkraut that's doing the job. So as the virus spreads, many high-risk groups started to surface. And I'm sure you've heard in the news that people with heart conditions, high blood pressure, diabetes, and obesity were the ones who seemed to be struggling the most. But many of these groups are taking medications that are known to boost ACE2 expression in the body. And that's one of the drugs they give those people with high blood pressure, diabetes, and obesity things. They give them a lot of these types of medications, and that actually makes it easier for COVID to get in and start to replicate. So again, scientists are wondering, how could this protein be responsible? And the research is ongoing, and they don't have all the answers for how it works with these special groups of people that seem to be most affected. But it's very ongoing, because they're seeing that when they can lower these ACE2 proteins in the body, the COVID, not only does it not often get access into the body, but even if it's in there, it starts to stop it, and you get well faster. Now, kefir helps too. They have found countries like Bulgaria, Greece, Romania have very low death rates due to the virus, and these countries all consume fermented milk and fermented cabbage. Now, kefir is also a natural ACE2 inhibitor. It's not as strong as cultured vegetables, but it still does it too. And Turkey, another apparently low death rate country, they also consume a lot of fermented milk and cabbage products, but we have found that cultured vegetables to be the most important. And the research gathered data, and they found even more things to consider, that the fermented vegetables had a significant impact on the mortality rate of a country. And it's really interesting, because for every gram of consumption of fermented vegetables, the risk of mortality fell by 35.4%. And I have graphs on this. If you go to the article, I'm going to put the link in the description below, and you can see those graphs from the countries that consume a lot of these foods, and how the death rate really does drop in the places where they do eat them. And what's really interesting to me is I've always known, and there's a lot of research, that cultured vegetables are antiviral, and it's the specific bacteria that's in them that works so effectively. But here's the deal. The same bacteria that's in cultured vegetables is also in kefir, but it's in a smaller amount. And there's a whole bunch of other good bacteria in kefir. There's like 50 plus. So when you have a lot of good bacteria in one thing, they compete with one another for dominance. So you don't get as much of this particular bacteria with Lactobacillus plantarum, which is very powerful. So when you get cultured vegetables, you mostly get just that good bacteria. There's other strains in there too, but that's the one that dominates. And that's the one that seems to be helping with COVID-19. So I want to talk to you about the bird flu. Do you remember the bird flu epidemic? That was the very first time I had ever made cultured vegetables. And that was during that bird flu epidemic. And it was a very scary event that hit Asia in, I think it was 2005. And there was 60% of those people who got that bird flu, were infected, died. It was very, very scary. And scientists were searching frantically for ways to protect humans and the chickens from this deadly virus, because there was birds and poultry getting this virus and spreading it. So Koreans have eaten, in South Korea, they have eaten kimchi for thousands of years and really have a strong belief in the powerful medicinal effects of kimchi. It's actually their national food. And a microbiologist named Kang Se-ok thought he had found a way to battle against the bird flu virus with kimchi. So Dr. Kang used this special bacteria extracted from kimchi to treat chickens with bird influenza, the ones that had the bird flu. And they gave 13 chickens kimchi, and 11 of those 13 made a full recovery. And those in the control group who did not get the kimchi died. So kimchi was credited with protecting South Korea from the bird flu, since most Koreans eat about 70 pounds of kimchi a year. And neighboring countries just don't like kimchi, like China and Japan. So they were not as fortunate. There were many cases of bird flu, but in South Korea, they had no confirmed cases. And it was really this story that really convinced me to try cultured vegetables. I had made some earlier that week, and it was my first batch of cultured vegetables, and I had been stricken with food poisoning from a batch of artichoke dip I'd gotten at a restaurant. And I was really desperate. I mean, my whole family got it, except for, I think my youngest didn't. But we were all desperate to feel better. And I was just laying in bed as sick as could be. And I was thinking about this story, and I dragged myself to the kitchen, grabbed my cultured vegetables, and just swigged a drink from the jar. And just later that day, I felt like a new woman. And I really got convinced, because of that scenario, of the power of cultured vegetables. And the rest is history. I eat them all the time, eat them every day. I'll have a spoonful. You don't need a lot. A few spoonfuls of the juice works just as well as the vegetables themselves. But it really convinced me. And from that day to this, I have seen cultured vegetables fix so many ailments, especially related to the gut or the stomach, whether it's food poisoning, whether it's a virus, whether it's diarrhea, whether it's people having gastrointestinal problems. They are very powerful medicine. And the one interesting thing about cultured vegetables is the particular strain of bacteria that's in there doesn't last very long in the body. It's called a transient bacteria. So it only lasts a few days, like 2 to 3. So what it does, it's very cool how it works. It goes into the body and it acts like a pathogen. And the other pathogens are attracted to it. So they go over to it and it steals the food from them. So they die. And then it lives, and those other pathogens go out of the body. It protects the gut lining. It cleans house, basically, what it does, of all harmful bacteria and things in the gut. And it's very, very effective, and it works very, very fast. And it's just food. It's just vegetables, but it's powerful vegetables that have this powerful bacteria in them that is good for the body in so many ways. But you got to eat it every few days, because it does leave the body after 2 to 3 days. So all of these cultured vegetables, mostly cabbage is one of the biggest ones that they seem to study, whether it's kimchi or cultured vegetables that are made from cabbage. Those seem to be the most powerful. And they have been studied and proved to have a lot of healing properties. And the Journal of Medicinal Food has credited kimchi with the following benefits: helping digestion, it's anti-constipation, it has fibrolytic effects, skin health promotion, fighting cancer, colorectal health promotion, brain health promotion, anti-aging properties, anti-obesity, cholesterol reduction, immune promotion, and antioxidant properties. It has all of these things they've been credited for that cultured vegetables have helped with. And it has like 200 good strains of bacteria in a jar that are powerful, that can make a huge difference in keeping you healthy. And the cool thing is, a jar of cultured vegetables can last, 9 months in your fridge, longer, because the good bacteria preserves the food and keeps it safe and keeps out pathogens, keeps out harmful bacteria, and really is fantastic at preserving vegetables. And I love to keep different kinds. I have so many in my fridge. I'm thinking I have 5 or 6 different jars of cultured vegetables in my fridge at the moment. Some of them are down to the bottom, so I'm going to make some more today. But they are powerful medicine, and they work very, very well. And I just hope that you'll have a jar in your fridge, because if you do get sick or you do need them, having them in your fridge is just a lifesaver for, anytime you're feeling stomach distress. That is just my family's go-to thing. If they're not feeling well or they're feeling kind of, like something's wrong with their stomach, one spoonful of the juice works, or just the vegetables, either way. So this is my hope and encouragement for the future. This pandemic is scaring everybody, and everybody's focusing on the virus and wondering what will become of the future. Everybody's still scared of it, and not everybody's scared of it. I know how viruses work. I also know that my body has a strong ability to keep me well because I understand how my immune system works. I understand that is one of my best protections against any kind of virus. But I also have these tools, such as cultured vegetables, because I know the science behind them. I know they work, not just because of the science and the research, but because I've seen it. I've seen it across the board. I've seen it, since 2000. When I started doing these, I think it was like 2002 or 2003 that I started making these foods. And what I've seen has been incredible. I started with kefir, then I moved to kombucha, and then I think it was 2005 that I started making cultured vegetables. I did them slowly, but the evidence was prevalent in my life, with my family, with my friends. I started seeing across the board how effective they were. And so, nobody can convince you of that but you. Words don't really teach. Life experience teaches. And so I do have to say that, staying alive, trying to keep healthy and keep out of harm's way has everybody, kind of in a state of what's going to happen for the future. And I see people everywhere trying to go about their lives. Where I live, the restaurants are still closed, but they're having venues outside and people can get food outside or takeout. And a lot of people are affected by this. They've closed the schools here. They're not going to reopen in the fall. And people are really freaking out because a lot of people need to work. So they're scared. They don't know how they're going to do this. But I have some encouragement for you. This is just my 2 cents on this. If you're finding that you're going to have to homeschool your kids, I want to encourage you that I did all 3 of my kids from kindergarten through high school. And I had kind of a gap with the last one. The other 2 were and there was 16 and 14 when my youngest was born. So it was just a couple years ago that I got done with homeschooling. But I did it when it wasn't popular. I got criticized for doing it because people thought I was crazy. And I sacrificed financially to homeschool my kids. But guys, it was the single greatest thing I ever did. It changed the whole course of my life, my kids' life, our family dynamic. It made us closer. I have a really good relationship with my kids. All of them now, we're just a tight-knit group. But we've spent a lot of time together, and it made such a difference for me. But no matter what you're going through, I have lived long enough to know that the answers will come, and what you seek is seeking you. Whatever you're going to need for your life, not that you have to do what I did, but the answers will come for you. I'm telling you, I've watched this my whole life. Every time you think you're in a place where you don't know what to do, the answers come, and something will really change and allow you to find the answers that you need for you. And, the world is literally turned upside down right now, but I really encourage you to keep a jar of this food in your fridge, this fermented vegetables. I can help you make them easy. Guys, it's super easy. You take vegetables, you stick them in a jar, you cover them with water, you put salt on them because salt keeps the pH down and allows them to ferment. And then you add a culture. Now, you don't have to add a culture. You can just use salt. You need to use more salt if you're not using a culture. But the salt keeps the pH down and acidifying bacteria, preserve that food and keep out harmful pathogens. The culture is going to make the bacteria in your cultured vegetables a lot stronger. I have different bacteria. I have a culture package you can use called Cutting Edge Cultures that works, or you can use the whey from kefir to make your vegetables, or you can use salt to make the cabbage. And I have all 3 of those methods on my website, and I'm going to put the link below so that you can pick and choose what you need to do. And you just take vegetables. They don't even need to be organic because the process of fermentation removes 99.9% of all chemicals and pesticides. in your vegetables. You just need a jar with a lid. It can be a plastic, it can be metal. Plastic's better. Metal can corrode kind of if the vegetables touch it a lot. But even whatever you have, you can use a clamp down jar if you want, but you can use any of those, and you need water, salt, a culture, and vegetables. And if you don't have the culture, you can use salt. So, and I tell you how to do it. I just want you to make them. I just want you to make them and keep them in your fridge because, guys, this could change your whole life. And if you get sick, go take some of these vegetables and do it before you get sick because it might keep you from, it's just food, guys. It's not medicine. It doesn't have, side effects. It's just a food. It's delicious. I have all kinds of recipes, especially for kraut. I make a lot of different krauts. If you don't like kimchi, I've got a million other, well, not a million, but I've got 200. I can't remember how many vegetable recipes I have that are cultured, but I'll put them in the link description below, and you can pick and choose the ones you want. They're delicious. I love them. We eat them all the time. We'll mix them in with some kefir cheese and make a dip. I've got lots of dips you can make with cultured vegetables. I've got, you can top a salad with cultured vegetables. You can mix it as a topping for your tacos. I have so many recipes and so many ways to eat it. I just want you to eat them because I want you to try it. I want you to see that it works, and then you can help other people. That's how it works. That's how all of this works. And, if you help others, sometimes the fear has overtaken most of the world. And fear can be worse than the actual virus. But I want you to have confidence in your body that even if you do get it, that your body can fight it. It's really smart, guys. You just got to take care of it. And even if you haven't been taking care of it right now, if you help eat these vegetables, they're going to help you. They're going to boost your immune system. They're going to fight pathogens. They do fight. And there is research now that it helps with COVID-19. And once you get a handle on the fact that your body is designed to heal you and keep you well, it's our best defense against this virus is our immune system. And once you start to understand how powerful your immune system is, you're going to want to get better and better and better because, guys, it makes you feel so great. You want to do stuff like, I never in a million years dreamed I'd be doing what I'm doing now, but I didn't feel good before, so it wasn't even on the horizon. And I am so excited that there is something that I do on a regular basis that can keep me and help keep me and my family healthy, happy, and strong. And I really want that for you too. And you don't have to buy special equipment to make these. And don't listen to people who tell you that. These cultured vegetables have been made for hundreds of years without special equipment. And I have airlocks that I use to make cultured vegetables that makes them crispier and I like it. But I don't always do it all the time. And you don't have to have it. You can just have a jar. You don't have to have a special culture. It does make them stronger, but you can still make it even if you don't have a culture. If you don't have kefir whey or if you don't have my special cutting edge cultures, you can still make it with salt. I can show you how to do it. You need to use a little bit more salt, but it'll make your vegetables crunchy and it will keep you safe and it will help you a lot. I just want you to make them because I want you to show yourself that you have powerful medicine that can be in your refrigerator. And not just medicine, but it can boost your immune system. It can help you digest your food. It's going to load you with vitamin C. It's going to give you a ton of B vitamins, and they're delicious. And I make them all the time. So that is my contribution to this crazy pandemic out there. Stay strong, my friends. This is going to be okay. I promise it's going to be okay. I was talking to my mom last night, and she's lived through a lot worse things than this, through wars and all kinds of crazy things that happened when she was growing up, the Depression. And she said, this is easy compared to those other things that they lived through where, they had the bombs come at night and she had to black out her house and as a little girl had to hide under the tables and scary things. My dad went off to war and they've lived through a lot, and this is going to be okay. We have a lot of wonderful things in our life that they didn't have back then. And we just need to help one another. So here's the deal. If you stay strong and you take care of your body and you take care of your immune system, you're going to be able to help a lot of people. Even if it's just your family, you're going to be able to be a lantern for others because you're going to have something that has helped you, and life experience will teach you better than anything. And that's what we need. We need some hope. We need people who have the ability to say, look, this worked for me. Try it, see how you do. And it can spread like wildfire. And not only that, it will combat the fear that's in people's heart. And I hate to see people afraid, but I do see a very resilient spirit in so many people. Even people whose businesses are crippled, they're still going. They're still trying. And bless their hearts, with the schooling, it'll be okay. It's just a virus is part of our, it's part of our world. Bacteria, fungi, viruses, all these things. But our body does have special ways to deal with it. But you got to take care of your body. So I hope that helps. I hope you'll make go to my link and check out how easy it is. Guys, literally, it doesn't take very long to make a jar of cultured vegetables. It's just vegetables stuck in a jar with water and a culture and salt. And then let it sit on the counter for 6 days and you're good. And then that will last for months and months and months in your fridge. And you've got it in there perfectly preserved and it's there for you if you need it. So I hope that helps. I hope you stay strong. And I love you guys. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me. And hopefully I will make a difference in your life. You have made a difference in mine. And if you have any questions, you can always email us. We answer all of our emails. I've got a lot of people that help do that because it's important to me, and especially during this time. So we will see you next week and get some cultured vegetables or make some. They'll be stronger if you make them, and you'll get a lot of joy out of making your own. See you next time, guys. Check out the links below.